Welcome to this explainer. If you operate in the hemp or CBD space, you already know the drill. Navigating local and federal regulations, yeah, that's really only half the battle. The other half, and honestly, the most absolutely crucial part for your survival, is actually being able to process payments and keep your cash flow moving without the constant fear of your merchant account just disappearing overnight. So today, we're going to unpack exactly what is happening behind the scenes with mainstream payment processors, why perfectly legal businesses are getting the boot, and how you can actually secure your infrastructure for the long haul. Let's get into it. Okay, let's jump right into the elephant in the room and ask the question that pretty much every merchant in this space is sweating over. Does Stripe accept CBD payments? Stripe is massive, right? It's super user-friendly, and it's the default for a ton of e-commerce setups out there. So naturally, you want to use it. At a quick glance, you might think the answer is a simple yes or no, but it's actually incredibly nuanced. Stripe's policies technically note that they only restrict products if they fall above the merchant's local legal limits. But as we're about to see, the reality of how they enforce that policy, total game changer. So while Stripe might seem kind of accommodating at first, you check their official FAQ and boom, harsh reality. Their language explicitly states that restrictions, quote, include any products with CBD or THC in them, unquote. I mean, they're literally lumping CBD right in with adult entertainment, gambling, and peer-to-peer lending. They put it on the same level as e-cigarettes and pharmaceuticals, which means intense scrutiny. So you could be operating completely legally within your local laws, and bam, you wake up one morning to a restricted account just because some support team flagged those ingredients. Now you might be wondering, why? Why would a massive processor turn away perfectly viable businesses? Well, it really just comes down to scale and risk management. Stripe is an international processor. Because they operate globally, they have to deal with thousands of overlapping, confusing regulatory guidelines. For a company of that size, it is simply easier to issue blanket restrictions on anything highly regulated rather than spending the resources to navigate complex local laws on a tedious case-by-case basis. They rely on automated systems and low-risk algorithms, so if your product even hints at being in a gray area, that algorithm just drops the hammer. Section 1. Triggers for account flagging. So what exactly happens behind the curtain to trigger an account shutdown even when you're selling legal hemp-derived goods? The first major trigger is product ambiguity. Processors look extremely closely at the delivery method of your product. Think about it like this. Topicals, like a CBD massage lotion, are generally seen as safer bets. They're much less likely to get flagged. But ingestibles, like a CBD food oil or an edible, oh, they are highly scrutinized. If your product descriptions are vague and the processor can't instantly tell if a customer is rubbing your product on their skin or eating it, that ambiguity alone is absolutely enough to get your account frozen. And that ambiguity totally extends to full-spectrum CBD as well. Look, the 2018 Farm Bill allowed for hemp-derived products containing less than 0.3% THC, right? That is the federal baseline. But full-spectrum products intentionally use cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids all together to produce a synergistic effect. And they typically contain that trace amount of up to 0.3% THC. Even when you are strictly following those Farm Bill limits, just using the phrase full-spectrum CBD in your marketing raises a massive red flag. Some local jurisdictions restrict this because of potential psychoactive effects, and underwriters reviewing your site get incredibly nervous about it. Beyond just the product ingredients, there are several other super common shutdown triggers you need to watch out for. One major trap: documentation gaps. Every single batch you sell must have a certificate of analysis, a COA. If you're missing this, you're out. Next up, unapproved FDA medical claims. Listen, you literally cannot tell consumers your product will diagnose, cure, treat, or alleviate illnesses. Innocent little marketing claims about fixing sleep, reducing pain, or curing anxiety will flag your account instantly. Combine that with local THC sensitivities and the crazy high dispute and chargeback rates in the cannabis industry, and you've just created a perfect storm for an automated shutdown. Section 2. The Shopify payment trap. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, no problem, I'll just bypass these issues by using a huge platform like Shopify. Oh man, let me stop you right there. That is a major industry misconception. If you're using Shopify as your primary payment gateway, you are absolutely still trapped. People think they're safe because they don't have a direct account with Stripe. But Shopify actually relies entirely on Stripe to process and secure their back-end transactions. That means if you were selling CBD on Shopify using their built-in gateway, you have to follow Stripe's exact stringent guidelines. It's a total illusion of safety, and it catches countless new merchants completely off guard. Section 3. High-risk payment solutions. Okay, so now that we understand the very real dangers of these hidden back-end rules and low-risk algorithms, what's the actual fix? Well, moving your business to a specialized high-risk processor is basically an upgrade. Just look at these benefits. You get way more payment options: debit, credit, EBT, e-checks, gift cards, which directly reduces your card abandonment. Then you've got top-tier fraud prevention with 3D secure authentication. And chargeback mitigation? Absolutely vital. Customers might get buyer's remorse or get frustrated by shipping delays, and these dedicated providers actually give you proactive tools to resolve those disputes before they ruin your reputation. Plus, you get expert regulatory guidance on the tricky stuff, like age verification. Section 4. Choosing Adaptiv payments. So to actually secure your business infrastructure and grab all those benefits, you need an industry expert who really gets this space. That brings us to Adaptiv payments. They have become the go-to high-risk merchant account for thousands of CBD merchants. They have deep expertise here, but what is truly a game changer is their common-sense underwriting. Instead of relying on some rigid automated algorithm that bans you over a single word on your website, Adaptiv actually evaluates your specific business model, your credit, and your actual product lines. Throw in transparent contracts, seamless integrations that work with your existing setup, and advanced fraud protection, and it really is a no-brainer. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a hard look at your current e-commerce setup and ask yourself this absolutely vital question. Is your business truly secure, or are you literally just one automated flag away from losing your payment processing overnight? Relying on mainstream low-risk processors in a high-risk industry like this is just a massive gamble with your livelihood. Protecting your business means partnering with financial institutions that are actually built to support you, not restrict you. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and make sure you evaluate your merchant accounts today to keep your business resilient for the long haul. Catch you next time.